Guys, welcome back to League Crawler Live. I love doing these shows. Quick some news items. For those of you that signed up for the March Madness, here are the standings thus far. Matt will reach out to the winner. If you don't hear from him, reach out to him via Discord, he said. But here are the standings as of right now. In the first place, we have Latif Padgett. Second, Sean McDonald. Third, Bruce D. Fourth, Ryan Olson. Fifth is Philip Schnee. And sixth is Radomir Pavosevic. I'm sorry if I didn't say that right, brother. I apologize. But you guys are absolutely killing it. You're all close enough that you can potentially win. If I didn't name you, I don't think that you're close enough because you're more than like 10 points out. Like you're really scratching the surface. But just so you guys know, that's what the standings are like. Huge shout out to our Platinum Patreon supporters. You got the Zoden Bulls, you got the Blitz, you have the SPA. What does that mean? What that means is throughout tonight's show, you're going to see a couple commercials, and it's going to highlight some of the stuff that those leagues do, and they pay $20 per month, and we want to make sure that we are promoting the hard work that others are doing. So if that's something that you're out there looking for, if you're wondering, hey, how come they keep showing this stuff from Soden Bowl and Blitz and SPH? Well, because they pay for that kind of stuff because we want to promote the stuff that they're doing, and they want to have it promoted. So that's what it's here for. It goes on to this show. It then goes on to YouTube to live in its forever home forever, and then that's just kind of how life works for the Platinum Patreon supporters. So if that's something you want to do, hit up Matt. He's all about that kind of stuff. We love that. That money does not, just so you guys know, Mo and Matt are just trying to get money from our pockets, their pockets. That ain't it, Chief. What we do with that money is it goes straight back to the community. We like to do giveaways. We like to do, I think a few weeks ago we did a couple games of access. We gave those away. So everything that you guys give to us, we give right back to you. We want this to be a community that just kind of thrives on all of us just kind of doing what we got to do to have some fun. So for those of you that are like, oh, I don't want to do that because I don't want to give them money, I don't care. I'm not taking any of your money. It goes right back to you anyway. When we come back, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we have we got the man. We got the guy with the broadcaster for the EA Madden Championship Series. He is the voice of Friday Night Football. He is a Mutthead community manager. When we come back, we got at Nick Mizesko. We'll be right back. Guys, welcome back. If you know this face, this beautiful man next to me, you are tuned into a lot of EA stuff because he is all over the place. We absolutely love Mr. Nick Mizesko. If you aren't watching what he's doing, head over to twitch.tv/Nick Mizesko official or go over to Twitter. He is at Nick Mizesko. Yo, brother, how are you doing tonight?
Is this the like closest in proximity you've ever had like an interview with some like we literally live like an hour from each other? Like
no, I actually had on Snipe, so he's another broadcaster just like you, and he's actually in Anthem.
Oh, so he's
yeah.
Way closer.
Arizona's kind of popping. Yo, for those of you that don't know, Nick's in Arizona just like I am. We're Arizona family. You actually did not grow up here though. You were I did some digging, bro. Just so you know, for how this show works, what we like to do is I like to spend like a day or two like diving into some deep info that I can. So for you, I looked. Fendler did a fantastic interview with you just a few months ago.
Oh, okay, cool, that's fine.
So
I thought you were gonna say that Fendler sold me out and told me my deep dark secrets. And
he did not. He did not. Although I should have reached out now. But what we did do is I did go back. I watched the interview you guys did a few months ago. I've been watching your channel religiously. I was on it actually today, and you guys went live, and I actually got the live show. The whole spiel, it was awesome. But you were born in New York, but you grew up in Columbus, Ohio. I anticipate that's why you're such a huge Ohio State fan.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you grew up in Columbus. That's sort of your life. And a lot of it was also like when I was growing up, like the Browns had just left Cleveland. Like they left in '94, so like there wasn't really a pro football team. And I'm counting the Bengals. Like the Achilles Smith led Bengals were not a team that you rooted for.
Woof.
So we just watched Ohio State, and yeah, lived in Columbus until I graduated high school, and then I diggity dipped out of there.
Yeah, bro.
See ya.
What's interesting about that story for you is you're an Ohio State fan. A lot of people, I'm assuming, are Ohio State for the same reason that you just named. The Browns left in '93, but like for me, I've grown up in Arizona my entire life, and when I was born in '86, we didn't even have a football team because the Cardinals didn't arrive till '88, and like back then, like everybody here was a Dallas fan, right? Like it was a massive fan base for the Dallas Cowboys. So back then, ASU was actually pretty popular in the Valley, and Jake Plummer was the quarterback for ASU. Ended up getting drafted to the Cardinals, and that's how my fanhood started. So very, very interesting. One of the things that I loved about that interview, though, that I didn't grab everything from there, but one of the things that I did love is you're an Ohio State fan that ends up going to Michigan State, and you never hid your fanhood there, and I got to give you a massive respect because that's got to be an interesting place to show fanhood for a rival school.
I mean, again, it was one of those that like when I picked Michigan State. I mean, I think it was one of those that was like, I don't think it was that bad going there because again, like Michigan State was always a basketball school. Ohio State like had some good years. The Greg Oden years they were good. The Scooney Penn Michael Red years in '99 they were good. But like Michigan State was always okay at football, but like it was never like, oh, they're a rival of Ohio State. Ohio State's rival was always Michigan. Michigan State was just another team in the Big Ten. But it happened to, like, the second that I got there was, '08 was Kirk Cousins' year. That was the year that they started getting really good at football. And we went from there. We had, Connor Cook years. We had a whole lot of good football teams. We had the Rose Bowl team. We had the national champion, or the playoff team. And so I think that's where it's got weird is that, like, I will say this. I've always said this, and let's be clear, I had a great time in Michigan State. I loved it. And I have dealt with both Michigan State fans and Michigan fans as an Ohio State fan. As an Ohio State fan, to me, Michigan State fans are so much worse than Michigan fans. And it's not even, like, on the same playing field. Because here's the thing. At least Michigan fans, like we make fun of Michigan fans because they want to talk about all the titles they won in 1918 and look how good we were when we beat Ohio State when they were literally standing out like 22 fans. But at least they have history. Michigan State has been bad for the majority of their history. They were good for one like 8-year period, and they act like they've been good. They're just like, well, we're the best, and we're gonna win the dog. Shut up and get out of my face, dog. Like you beat Ohio State. Like congratulations, you were good for 8 years, and now all of a sudden it's like, we're the greatest school ever. Let's settle down. Like just easy up. Also, I did get my car keyed and egged a couple times. So.
I mean, you are a Michigan State alum. Is there not just a small piece of you? It's like, yo, I want to see them do well.
No.
Oh, I love it. They
took a lot of money from me to be there. Like, that's the part I don't understand. Like, people are always like, well, you're a Michigan State alum. Shouldn't be a Michigan State fan. Why would I be a fan of a team that took $200,000 from me? Like, if I got mugged for $200,000, I wouldn't root for that guy to have a great year. I really hope he uses that $200,000 well. No, they took a bunch of my money. Their fans made my life miserable. Why would I root for them? No.
Well, maybe it's kind of like, so I guess I can equate that to like a Clash of Clans. So when that game first came out, I put so much stupid money into that game. Me and my friends were just like, oh no, we're gonna have the best base, we're gonna do this. And now I can't delete it off my phone because I'm like, I put like $200 into this game. It has to sit there for the rest of my phone's life because I refuse to do it. So you're a better man than me. Once I put money into something, I gotta get my eggs out of that.
I like again, my wife. I met my wife at Michigan State. She's a big Spartan fan. I won't even like touch the Michigan State blankets. I don't own any Michigan State shirts. Like I got rid of all of them. Like I do not own a single Michigan State. Bye. I'm good.
That is hilarious. One of the things I absolutely, and you brought her up right here, one of the things I absolutely loved about your interview with Fendler that night is you definitely go to great lengths to show that you are a family man, you are married, and it actually leads me to the next thing I wrote down. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but you spent 7 years ballroom dancing on a national level.
Yeah.
Yo, you want to tell the people about that? That's pretty impressive, bro.
Yeah, I mean that was how we met. My roommate at the time was on the ballroom dance team. He was somebody who was always involved with it, and he got me involved with it as somebody who didn't have a extracurricular activity to do, and I tried it out, and eventually met my wife, and we did it for a long time. Traveled around to a lot of the Midwest schools. We did a lot of events at Ohio State, at Michigan, at Notre Dame, at where else did we go? Purdue and Vanderbilt were Valparaiso were the big ones, and yeah, I did it all throughout college. It was funny. At one time, I was both on the ballroom dance team and the president of the MSU dodgeball team.
Oh
So
yeah,
that
I've
was,
got that written down. That's
yeah, that was fun.
that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, that was fun. But yeah, it was my wife definitely like it was definitely something I did because the person that I was dating did
Mhm.
it. My wife definitely loved it more than I did. She's been a dancer her whole life. But I met some great friends through it, and yeah, it's something that's always fun to bring up because nobody expects it from the family.
Yo, yeah, I was absolutely floored when I was watching that, and you were like, yeah, I've been doing it for 7 years. I've been on a national level. Like you went to all these different places. I was absolutely floored. Like you don't anticipate that from a lot of people, but like seeing some of the stuff that you do and how animated you are, that would just not be the sport. Because I mean, it is a sport. It's a competition. That would not be the sport that I would have pegged you as playing. And that actually leads me into the next one with the president of the Michigan State competitive dodgeball team. What is going on? So I didn't spend a whole lot of time going to college, like the curricular activities. Like I did my classes, I went and had fun with my friends, but I didn't do all the extra. Can you fill me in on what it is like to be the president of the Michigan State competitive dodgeball team?
It wasn't that much. Like I literally got the job because I was a part of the team, and the president graduated, and nobody else wanted to do it, so I kind of took it. And there wasn't a whole lot for the president. I mean, the president's job at that point was basically talk to the university, like when just make sure that we had like space to practice and all that stuff. But most of the stuff was run by the team captain, so it was pretty easy. I was on the dodgeball team for 2 years. I stopped after my sophomore year because I ended up just it was one of those things that like everybody around me was really good. Like I was not good. I was competent, but I would not say I was good. But it was just one of those things. I was like, I knew that. I mean, again, because ballroom was 4 nights a week. We were Monday through
Hmm.
Thursday plus competitions. And it was so much of my life that like I just never had time for it. But it was a fun couple years. We traveled to a bunch of other schools in the Midwest. Like it was like opposite schools of where we were traveling for ballroom. So did a lot at Grand Valley State and at Saginaw Valley State and University of Michigan. But yeah, it was great. I don't even know how I legit don't have a recollection of how I got involved. I'm pretty sure it was, so the guy who I ended up living with sophomore year was on the team.
Hmm.
And he was inviting a bunch of people on our floor of our dorm room. Shout out to Case Hall, Michigan State's campus. And he was like, you should come. And I think I did, and had some fun with it. Funny enough, that dude, like, I literally never got to play with him because the like second day of practice we were there, he took a ball to the finger and completely shattered his middle finger. Like he was in a splint and everything for like 8 months. Like the
No.
bones were destroyed. So that was fun. I was like, thanks man for inviting me. Yeah, big shout out
Whoa.
to GVSU. Shout out to Grand Valley.
Yo, okay, so this is, and as much as people probably want to hear me talk about Madden, I'm sorry, guys. This is where I kind of got drawn in with the last one. I want to know what was more competitive. Like when you start going through dodgeball. One, I'm sure that's a lot of people that want to just huck a ball at each other and dive out of the way. But I would imagine that ballroom dancing can actually get pretty competitive. Or am I completely off here? And that just it was the exact opposite. Which one could be more competitive?
It was definitely competitive because it was all alpha males. Like it is the people that you expect to play dodgeball. I mean, a lot of these guys were baseball players. Like these are hard hitting. You're looking for headshots. Ballroom dancing was certainly competitive, but there was certainly more of a community around it. It was more like I don't think anybody was ever like I legit don't remember because how so here's enjoy this niche moment of this podcast. This is how ballroom dancing worked. Literally, they would send out heats of people. You'd have 30 couples out on the floor, and there were 6 judges on the outside of the floor, and they would mark people as they went by. They went like, this person deserves to move on. So there was legit never a point where I was like, oh yeah, like this guy is my rival. I remember competing against him. It was so much about what you were doing, that I think that was why I don't want to say it wasn't competitive, but at the end of the day, it was so much about the individual versus like what the other person was doing. There's no like, I'm gonna go beat that person. It was like, I have to be better. So I think that's why. And like, I mean, again, we were friends with all the teams. Like my buddy who got me into it, my roommate was the best man at my wedding, and I was the best man at his wedding, and he met a girl who was on the Notre Dame ballroom dance team, and they got married. Like it was much more of like a community and like an activity that everybody did versus like there was competition, but I don't think anybody was ever like, I want to beat that guy. In dodgeball, it was like, I want to take that guy's head off. I distinctly remember like 4 people on other teams. I was like, I hate that guy. I want to hit him very hard with a round ball. And then I throw it and be kind of just like, damn, I'm not good. I forgot. Yeah, that's why I'm the president.
You know, I will say, as a man that's now married, I got 2 kids of my own. I got my own wife. Sitting here now at 30, I'm 34, 35. I can't remember which one. I really wish I would have taken a ballroom class at one point. I mean, back when I was like in my 20s, I probably would have been like, hey, ain't no way in hell I'm doing that. I'd much rather go play dodgeball. But now sitting here, I definitely should have gone and done that. My wife would absolutely love to go do that. So I might have to hit you up after this, see if there's any classes or anything here.
I mean, it's the one thing that's great about it is like you can pick it up whenever you want. Like it is such a low, like it's very, there are a lot of health benefits to it. It's very low impact. It's good, like it's good cardio, but it's great for, posture and all that stuff. And like, it is like if you have a wife or something that's into it, like it's affordable. Like you don't have to compete. Like just take a class. Like it is a lot of fun. So
I could use better posture. Tighten back.
I certainly could. We're gamers. We're all like this all the time.
I hear you, bro.
I'm locked in.
You might be onto something here. You know what I'm saying?
In.
Okay, let's talk about Madden a little bit. You have a different journey than most. Most of the people that get upon this show are like, yo, I've been playing Madden my entire life. I remember when Madden first came out. I'm one of those gamers. I've had a system my entire life. You were not that way. You actually did not have a system until much later, and then you played a Madden. You had a pretty long break, and then you got back in, I believe it was... I'm going to be off on here. It was like 16 or something like that. It wasn't a lot. So what was your gaming journey like? For those that haven't seen the Fendler show, what was your gaming journey like that got you to the point of, I'm going to start playing this game a lot more than I'm going to start playing everything else that I
got? So I didn't have any gaming systems growing up. Like video games were a treat when we got to go visit my aunt, and she had an N64. Like that was like a big deal. Like we used to rent the consoles from Blockbuster.
Bro, you're speaking my language.
Yeah, like I mean, I didn't have like I got my first system when I was a senior in high school, and it was a GameCube. And on that I had Madden 06. Shout out to Sean Alexander. 07, 06, I don't know. But in college. I mean, again, we played a lot of LAN Halo. Like, it was a lot of Halo 3 and stuff. I mean, the second day I got to college was the first time I ever picked up an Xbox controller and tried to play with the 2 sticks. And, like, it was bad. It was very bad. But we played a little bit of Madden. I remember playing a decent amount of Madden 10, the Troy Polamalu, Larry Fitzgerald cover. I remember, like, me and my roommate would play that, and like we'd just turn on music and literally play that, like just keep playing games. Like we'd play for 6 hours on a Saturday when we didn't have class. But yeah, then once sort of he moved out, and once I sort of moved on, like I had an Xbox. I remember the first game I played online, because we didn't, being in the dorm rooms, the internet was not good at that time, so there was no point in buying Xbox Live. Like we legit LAN played.
Right.
The first game I actually played online, the first time I had a Xbox Live subscription, was I played NHL 14. They used to in NHL have a franchise mode, and I played in that.
They were like the test one for EA to start working on connected franchise modes.
And I had a blast with it. Like we had, I remember being in the league, and like it wasn't a full like. It was one of those when I joined, I think I filled the league, but then like there's so much turnover, people dropping and leaving, all that stuff. Like we ended up most of the time playing with about 20 people, but it was fun. And yeah, I didn't get into Madden. Like was Madden 16 was the first time I picked up, like, and I was like, I remember I do have a distinct memory of sitting in my apartment on Michigan State's campus, because it took me 8 years to get through college, stay in school. Um, and I have a distinct memory of like sitting there. I was literally like at my computer, and my Xbox hooked up, and I saw Madden 16 because at that point I bought it like it had to have been January, so it was
Mhm.
on sale, and I was like, I have Xbox, like I should look to see if there are leagues,
Mhm.
and I did. Like I legit like searched Madden leagues. League crawler popped up. I used league crawler. I joined like three of them. I quit two of them, and I stayed in one for 5 years. So that was kind of how it worked.
And that was Madden Bombers League, which actually leads me to
Yeah.
the next one. And you were in Madden Bombers League for quite a long time. Um, when I did my research, you started in episode like 20. They ended up going 200 plus episodes. Like you guys absolutely killed it. You
300.
were 300
Yeah, we got
episodes.
to 315 or something was our last one, I think.
And I believe you said you were in 80% of those or more. So you absolutely grinded this out. For those of you that had never heard of Madden Bombers League, right? And I want to make sure that I give you guys the recognition that you guys deserve. From my understanding, I was not a part of the Madden online community at that point. When I was at that point, when you guys were doing your thing over at Madden Bombers League, I was building my own league over here, but I didn't know that this community existed, so we were just kind of in this dark corner. By the time I enter the Madden community, Madden Bombers League, it was had just shut down. Can you fill us in on what this league was? Because you guys were absolutely one of the best leagues that's ever been a part of this platform. I believe, from my understanding, it's the only league out there that was associated in any kind with EA. I don't think there's another league that's done that thus far. What was MBL and what made it the place that it was?
So yeah, MBL was 32 player connected franchise. It was I joined in 16. I did join because I wanted to go into broadcasting in college, but I didn't my parents didn't want me to have a degree in broadcasting. They went
Mm-hmm.
like, you're not going to make it, like you should get a better degree. And so I went, well, how's the best way?
Sounds
Like
like
if I'm
my
ever
parents.
going to do broadcasting, like how am I ever going to do it? And I went, well, esports are pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
Like this was 2015. They were starting to pick up. So yeah, I've joined MBL. It was 32 players. Like this was hardcore
Mm-hmm.
sim football, which I liked at the time. I mean, it was, as somebody who was not in the top upper tier of like Madden players, I would not consider myself like great at the game. I'm fine at the game because I've played it a lot, but I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't consider myself great or good.
Same.
So playing in a league with sort of structured rules was fun. The like tweeting and representing a team was fun.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of that. That was, I mean, again, eventually, I hopped on a broadcast and hopped on a couple more, and eventually, worked my way into being network director and really like planning the shows that were on the network, and we went from I think before I got there it was like 4 or 5 shows a year, like a season, to I think at our peak we were doing 21 shows in a season. Like we almost every regular season week we had a show, advancing every 48 to 72 hours. So yeah, it was, I mean, again, it was a big part, and there's a lot. I mean, yeah, we did so much. Like, yeah, eventually, like, I mean, again, just obviously being on Twitch so much and formulating relationships. We went to EA Play every year.
Mm-hmm.
I flew out to LA and was able to interact with guys like Clint and guys like
Mm-hmm.
Rex when he was there, and RG and all
Shout
these
out to Rex.
guys. And yeah, big shout out to Rex. And they were nice to interact with us. And then through that, just happened to able to get an opportunity through EA to sort of be a franchise representative with the Game Changers and work with them and trying to make franchise. It's still something I do to this day. So there's a lot of, yeah, it was definitely a grind. We definitely grinded, and there was a lot that went on at the NBL. There was a lot of like behind the scenes stuff, and a lot of like, again, the weird part about franchise community, and I think it's gotten better. Again, I'm not quite as much into the sim franchise community as I used to
Oh,
be, but
you can talk to the man. I'm the man
yeah,
for that.
yeah. I mean, like at least when we were doing it, like the sim franchise community was cutthroat. It was
Mm-hmm.
everybody was trying to beat the other people. There was subtweeting and people like just talking
Mm-hmm.
mad smack about everybody. So like it was always like there was a target on our backs and we were trying to fend off everybody else, and like it was just a different time. And um yeah, it's weird that it's been, Jesus, 2 full years since it ended. So
Yeah,
um
it's been a bit.
Yeah, yeah, because it was right before I moved to Arizona was when we shut it down. So, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, for those of you guys that don't know, Madden Bombers League actually has a unique history with League Crawler. They were our inaugural league of the year, and then from there, and maybe my history is wrong. You guys start doing your thing with EA, and I'll speak for the opposite side, right? Because I think everybody out there that's a commissioner, anybody out there that's seen what some of these top leagues can do, the Madden Bombers League was what predated what I would, but I would come in with like the Soden Bowls, all these different things that are kind of there. I would say that as I started to weave my way through some of the community, there is absolutely still some of that cutthroat. We want to be the best. We want to be represented by EA. We want to build something where they partner with us, and they do this because Madden Bombers League did that one day. But I think you actually see those communities, their users kind of die out pretty quickly. I don't think there's a lot of members out there that want to sign up to it's almost like a job. Like, we want to sign up to be the best league out there, and I'm going to commit all my time to this. I think leagues just want to have fun. I think they just want to join communities where they can partner with people that they feel like they're brothers, and they feel like we're gaming together. And it's almost like I get to go down to my friend's house down the street, and we get to play games still. And that's just not really an option anymore because now I'm an adult. But I think communities are starting to do that league wide. But there absolutely still is that cutthroat. But piggybacking on that, why does EA just not? I mean, it's not really an option anymore to partner with these leagues. It's not something that EA seems like they want to do. It's just not there. Why is that?
I mean, I work for EA as a broadcaster. I do not work internally with them, so I can't tell you like this is why.
Oh, right, like opinion based.
I can say this. There are a lot of people inside the program who are involved with the testing and design, and giving feedback on franchise that are involved, and there are a lot of voices that are heard in there. Like, just because they're not like we don't announce like, well, we had a meeting today and here were the 12 people that all
Right.
gave their input. I will say this. I think, obviously, like, again, those people that want to be, what we did and get involved with EA, like, NBL was around since 2014. It took 6 years of literally August to August. There was no stopping. There was no like we lost half our members and played with it. It was 32 people from 2014 until we got into the program. And by we, I mean it was me. And I don't mean that egotistically. I mean that in the sense of like the MBL didn't get into the Game Changer program. Nick Mizesko did as part of the MBL, and
Gotcha.
got some opportunities to give out some beta codes to the league and test with the league. But when it came to like testing and like going to the facilities and like I was under NDA, so I could not like share with the NBL like here's what's coming up in Madden, 21 or whatever it is. Like
That
it was
makes a
still
lot more
me.
sense.
Yeah, and like I got in because it was the broadcast what we built for that. Like that was my baby. It was building that league broadcast up and putting on good shows and doing graphics. I mean, it was something that like I missed a lot of like dinners with my wife and her friends because I have a broadcast and like I didn't skip out on them. And it's not to say that like that's the right way or the wrong way. It's just how we did it. And I will say the other
That's
thing
the
that
grind.
like yeah, it is a grind. And I will say the other thing that like again, I want to see like get ripped out of Madden the communities is this idea of like my way is the correct way to play and your way is wrong.
Agreed,
Like
bro.
listening to these sim franchise guys go after MUT guys and then the MUT guys go back after sim franchise. Like who cares? You're playing the way that you want to play and I'm playing the way that I want to play and it does not affect anything. Anybody who thinks that like this development like because MUT makes money, they put developers on MUT and they put none on franchise. It's just unequivocally not true.
That's a facts. I agree with you.
It's just facts. There are people that work there. The team that is on, like, nobody has ever really been pulled from the franchise team over to the MUT team to work because they make money. They have
No.
plenty of teams on both sides. That's where I want to see, like, that bothers me. Is, like, as somebody who has been on both sides, like, everybody can have their cake and eat it too. And that was something that, like, I think if I were to put out a pure guess with literally no backing evidence of why nobody else from the multi-user franchise, which again, let's call a spade, the multi-user franchise community it's the smallest population of Madden players. Like it is franchise is widely played, but multi-user leagues are fairly rare. They just are in the pantheon of Madden. Doesn't make it good or bad, it's just a fact. But I will say that like if I were EA and like who would I want to see come in and work with us? And I go into the franchise Twitter and I see everybody tweeting about how bad the game is, everybody tweeting about how franchise has to get fixed, how they don't love franchise, and then going after each other and going out and melt players. Like, why would I bring you in to come test? Like MBL, for all of its flaws, which don't get me wrong, we had a lot of flaws, and we were not great to some people or in leagues, and like obviously like there's a lot that like I couldn't control, and there was stuff that I could control, and we could have been better. But I will say this, on the outward facing persona, we made a concerted effort to not be negative on Twitter, to sit there and be like, and support the game. Even if we were sitting there in our Discord chat, or at that time it was GroupMe. We were using GroupMe. Shout out to GroupMe.
Shout out to GroupMe.
We were using GroupMe and TeamSpeak voice servers. But as much as we were sitting there going, this game sucks and I hate it and I'm so mad at the game and why is it like this? The second we went on Twitter, it was all positive towards EA, and it was that's why we got opportunities. And I think when you're a positive influence on the community, I mean, if you were ever to look at the roster of the guys who are in there testing the game right now, you're not seeing those guys on Twitter going, this game sucks and they need to fix it and I hate X developer because he's like, that's not how it works. It is, if you're a positive person and you're putting that positive energy out there and you show you're a supporter, you get support back. So that is the small, That's
how I got my access into the EA test realm, is because it's not that I was never negative with EA. I just looked at it very realistically, and the disputes that I had with EA, I handled it in a way that I thought was very professional. Like, I completely understood their point of view. I listened to the things they said. Even when I disagreed with some of the reasonings they gave me, I never came back in a way that was aggressive, and it led to Swami and me having a very, very, I would consider a very good relationship. He ended up helping me get into the EA test program, so huge shout out to him for that. But I've never really had the negative interactions with EA. Do I wish they made a better game? Absolutely. I wish every game made a better game.
I wish every game was perfect, obviously.
Yeah, I wish, when you see, here's the big thing for me, right? Is my favorite game of all time is Red Dead Redemption 2. I've played and beaten that game multiple times. But they made it for 8+ years. So when you look at a game that's that well, and the animals interact the way they do, and you can fish, and you can hunt, and you can do all these things, that's what you get with a product that takes that long to make. With EA, it's a year-to-year thing, but it's not even really a year-to-year thing, because half the year is spent
8 months
patching up what they did before. So it's just, I'm very realistic about the product, and I think because I'm realistic and handle it that way, it's helped me have some of the relationships that I have with
and that is where I wish that we were better as, an internet community, is like, it's like, again, obviously we all want the best for the game, but like, you're talking 8-month development time, and by the way, they developed the last 2 games from home during a pandemic. Like, that's wild. That's buckle. By the way, Cortez Logan, is that Heartless? Heartless, is that you?
It is. That is Heartless.
Big shout out to my guy Heartless, former MBL member. What's up, my dog? He did some stuff with the network, way in the Wayback Machine, in the heyday. Hope you're well, man. Good to see you.
Yeah, bro. I got a lot of love for Heartless. That dude knows he can count on me whenever he needs something. All right, so let's get back into this. So 2016, 2019 is MBL. That then opens up the doors to you for EA. You begin this partnership. They send you to San Francisco for the Madden 19 Club Championships. What was that like? Like, to know that you've progressed thus far, that the work you're paying off, the missed dinners. I'm missing mine right now, bro. The grind, when I tell you the grind is real, guys, I absolutely mean it. If you're wanting to build your own brand, some of this stuff is what you guys got to do. So you do all the work, the doors then opened up, you get into EA, you head down to San Francisco. What was that like for you?
It was weird. It was surreal. It was a whirlwind. It was certainly a community I didn't know. Like, obviously, being a franchise guy, like, I had never watched any competitive Madden. I had never, like, the only MUT I played was, like, I opened, I think, like, 2 bundles of packs to play squads with some guys in MBL. Like, we just, like, played squads. And that was fun. I actually like squads. I think squads is kind of fun. I understand that, like, competitive squads sucks, but, like, I had a lot of fun playing squads. So yeah, when I got picked to go down there, like it was just kind of surreal, and like I don't even think that like I didn't have any expectations. I
Hmm.
just going down there for the experience. I was grateful to get picked to be one of the guys. Ended up calling 2 games down there. You know, meeting a lot of. I mean, obviously meeting Scott Cole, who's been a mentor to me.
Hmm.
Meeting RG, who's been a mentor to me. Meeting Michael Skimbo, who's just one of the great guys in the competitive community. And you know, it's just it was a whirlwind because we were there. I was there for 3 days. I think it ended up being like 4 with travel.
Hmm.
Um, and like it was just a lot of learning on the fly. It was the first time I had ever called a game with a producer in my ear. I
Hmm.
remember doing a rehearsal and they were talking to me and like my brain broke. And I was like, because you have words coming in, but you have to finish your sentence. I was just like,
Yep.
I saw, and they're like, let's do it again. Like you're gonna have to get used to this. And literally, like once I heard it, I flipped a switch and was like,
Hmm.
okay, I can do this.
Yep.
Um, I'm actually very lucky because I remember the day that I was supposed to call my first game. I was supposed to go on at like 2 o'clock West Coast time,
Hmm.
which was like 3 hours into the show. It was the third game on the docket. And then they moved around games, and they literally came to me and went, "Oh, by the way, you're going to be on the second game, and you're on in 15 minutes." And I think that was great for me because I couldn't panic. It was just like you're doing this. Like get up there, put the headset on. You have no choice. Go. Like there was no more like worrying about it backstage. So, um, yeah, it was a crazy weekend. It was a little I don't want to say lonely, but like not knowing anybody. Like I think I had like dinner with Scott and RG once, but like they obviously knew each other. Like I didn't know any of the players, so it was a little like feeling around. But then like be once we got past that, like I do remember the being standing in the lobby of the Pullman Hotel in Redwood City, California, and Madden 20 Bowl champion joke before he had won his belt. At 4:15 in the morning, we're waiting for the bus to the airport, and he was the only player that like went out of his way to really talk to me, and he came up to me at 4:15 and said, "You did a really good job this weekend." And I think that was kind of like the, all right, hell yeah,
Hmm.
like this was a good weekend. But it
Yep.
was yeah, it was wild. It was a wild whirlwind.
Yo, You brought up the Mutt. Right now, you are the a Mutthead community manager. You said this year when was one of the first years you've ever even really dove into Mutt. What's interesting about that, bro, is this is the first year I've ever dove into Mutt. I never played the mode. I'd always been a Mutt hater. I felt like, yo, this Mutt community is taking on my franchise time. And I was wrong. So I put in a lot of time and effort in the last year. Probably last Madden was really where I started watching streamers that were doing Mutt, and I realized, yo, these are some really cool dudes. Like some of these guys that are out there streaming games, the Fendlers, the Fritzies, the I love my guy, the High Chance I'm High. Like there's all these small streamers that we just absolutely love. You know, the MPs. But this was my first year really diving into Mutt. What was your experience like? If I know this was your first year, was it everything it's cracked up to be for you?
Yeah, listen, I find Mutt very interesting. It is different, and it is certainly like it gave me a better it made me a better commentator
Mm-hmm.
learning about the programs and learning the like being able to sit there and go the reason why he's using Randall Cunningham is because of not just these abilities but because he throws it better, and as somebody who's played with both those players, like I
Mm-hmm.
know why they're using this guy. um it's certainly like the problem for me with Mutt is not a Mutt issue. It's just I don't play. Like, here's the thing. I work as the Mudhead community manager. I call Friday Night Football a lot. I
Mm-hmm.
work at EA doing EA broadcasts, not to mention all the other broadcasts
Mm-hmm.
I've done. Like, Madden is my job, so I don't spend a lot of free time. Like, I would like to go play some Madden now, too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it is like, it's very much like a streamer. Like, if you stream Madden for 4 hours, do you turn off the stream and play more Madden for 4 hours? Like, a lot of people
Nope.
don't. And that's me, is I work a lot, and I'm in the game a lot, so I just don't. I don't I don't play it every day or every week. And so because of that, I can't keep up with like a Mutt team
Mm-hmm.
because I won't play Madden for 3 weeks in a row. Like I'll go out of town and I'll be working, and then 3 weeks later I'll come back and it's like, well, your entire team sucks now, so you should go get a new one. And I'm like, I just don't feel like grinding coins at this point. But yeah, it's certainly been interesting. Like obviously it's made me better at my job, and like I very much get the appeal of it. Like I really do, and I feel like playing Mutt, like, obviously I already had this appreciation for the competitive players, like the top guys, the guys who are, but like, how much appreciation does it give you for the guys who win nothing, but still play Mutt every week and get packs every week and grind this game every week? Like, that is like a wild level of dedication.
So for me, my experience with Mutt this year is I didn't really want to experience a lot of the play because I use the word sim, but sim doesn't mean jack shit, dude. Like everybody has a different definition for that word, right?
I hate the word sim. I legit hate it, and it's no disrespect to the community, but I feel like sim has no meaning inside the community because everybody's definition of sim is different,
Bro.
and outside the community, it's used to disparage the community. Like, oh, you're sim. You guys, I hate the word.
Yeah,
but carry on.
It has no meaning, right? So as somebody that enjoys that style, though, because I do think people understand the style. You want realistic gameplay. I just didn't really want to dive into Mutt for the games. But what I loved doing, I did every single challenge that was available to me. Like, I killed every one of them. I kept putting money into packs because I wanted just an all Cardinals theme team. So I'm doing all of these different things. But then about Christmas time, it got a little chaotic for me. I won't lie. As a first-time Mutt user, it really felt like the Christmas bundles and then having, like, the snowflake tokens and all these different things.
The
like,
alt currency always messes me up.
Yeah,
like,
it completely threw me out of the loop,
no.
and then I lost interest for a while. And then when I came back, it was like all the cards that I've spent all this money now on don't mean a single thing because they're all worthless now. Like 2 weeks ago, they were worth 100,000 coins. Now they're worth like 50. So it really spiraled out of control for me. But I enjoyed my time at the start of Mutt this year.
I think the time that I figured out the most fun was when I built my like Browns Bengals Battle Ohio theme team, and like once I went like I'm gonna build a theme team that's like it's not one of the best. Like I'm not trying to build a Raiders theme team. Like it's not one of the best. So it's not like I'm gonna have to like keep up with it. But like I can throw it out there. I mean, it just my thing is like I don't know. Like I'm not at a point where like I freestyle. Like I still play like I play in the NBL. Like Mo, no joke. I'm not kidding you. Like at one point, I think early when I joined Bold Smack, like I had my like the playbook that I had played in Mutt was the one I was using. I was using oh Lord, Kansas City Gun Doubles playbook, and I had my like 15 plays that I could play, and I had my ebook up that I could look up the plays, and then eventually I was just like, nah, I'm good, and I switched to the New England playbook and just pick plays. Like I legit like will go through New England playbook and be like, oh, this was good in NBL slot cross. Let me run that play. I remember this play being great. PA comebacks. Here we go. And like I just freestyle, and so that's not conducive for playing online. And like I don't know. It's weird. Like I don't like grinding solos. I honestly wish. Like here's what I really wish. I wish they had like a solo mode that was hard. Like I wish in Mutt, like solo battles suck because it is a rookie team that you just beat by 1,000.
Yep.
I wish they had like an all Madden thing that like a ladder, like it was a single player mode. Like the most fun I've had playing Madden is like playing CPU all Madden inside franchise and doing random play and like literally it's you call the play that pops up on the suggestions.
Yep.
Like
the A.
The all Madden
I know I'm hitting A every
brutal.
time.
Yeah. Right, like that's what I'm playing, and like that's the play I'm gonna call. Like I have 3 plays I can pick from. Here we go.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. I think it's certainly been interesting being involved in Mutt. And obviously like it's gonna like it's still my job. Like we're still going. You know, Madden 23 is still gonna be looking at Mutt. I think I will enjoy it more in the coming year because so much of this year was learning like. How these programs work and how the alt currencies work and how the rerolls work and all that. I think now going into 23, it's like, okay, this is my second year of now like being fully into it. Like I know what to expect.
Right, and I think I'm kind of the same way. I did completely stop playing Mutt. So for those of you out there that I was playing with originally, I'm not doing it anymore. But I am excited for what next.
I haven't opened Mutt in probably 5 months. Like,
bro, I haven't opened Mutt since the Christmas stuff got me through a loop. And
no, I
like,
did. That's correct. I did Snowflakes and Zero Chill. I played a little bit, but then it was like because it was MCS was Wild Card in January, and then Super Bowl was Madden
like
Bowl,
boom, boom,
and it
boom,
was just
boom,
like
boom.
I was just like I'm done. Like it was literally 4 weeks of nonstop. Plus I had to travel out to Orlando for jump off. Like it was just like I got done with Madden Bowl, and I was like, so I'm not looking at this game for a little bit. Like I will go play my one franchise game a week, I'm gonna go lay down.
I felt like there's a lot of new people that like join leagues, right? And they just don't understand when they first join the time commitment it's going to take. You're going to be in the Discord every day. You're going to be talking with people. You're going to be engaged with the chat. I did not give the time that I should have. And I did not realize that I was going to have to be engaged with this program every day to make sure that I was getting the top cards and selling my cards for the top value and all these. And it just snowballed on me. And I never was able to kind of get back into the grind of doing it all. Let's switch gears a little bit. You're heavy into the stream.
Oh, why'd you say heavy? Oh, settle down.
Hey,
call me
bro,
heavy.
hey, I got my
lean back one time.
whole fun pack, bro. It's okay. Okay, so but you're heavy into the community. You're heavy into the stream. People love watching what you're doing. I go into all these streamers all the time, and you're constantly giving praise. You're constantly you're doing you, right? And you do a great job. But my question for you now, kind of circling back to the franchise one, is franchise mode is just not one that I would say is stream enjoyable, right? It's not something that people are like, yo, I want to go watch Fenn because he's in a league that's blank and he's the Giants and he's talking about trading Saquon and I want to go see who's trading for it. Like, it's just not something that the community maybe yet is looking at that side and going, we can really enjoy this. What can streamers that are streaming league games, what can they do to start attracting a better audience?
So I don't like the argument of X is not a good stream game because I legit like there are streamers out there. I mean, Fendler's a great example, and not just because he's a great friend of mine, but I enjoy watching him play. Like, he could be playing Trivial Pursuit online, and I'd watch it. You know, I mean, again, we at the NBL, like, the first year I was doing broadcasts, we had 19 people in there, and it was all league people. You know, by the time we got through it, you know, not counting the ones where we had, like, drops or whatever, like, we had Super Bowls where we had, I remember the first time I went, oh, Lord, we're actually doing something here, is we had 115 people watching our Super Bowl. Like, that was a big deal to us. That was a big-time stream, and that was more than double what our league was. It wasn't just everybody in the league. There were a lot of people watching it. And I think the biggest thing you can do is you have to find out what your audience wants. Like, you have to be entertaining, because here's the thing. Like, let me tell you, this is literally what 90%, and as somebody who goes around Twitch, this is not a knock on y'all, but this is what 90% of every franchise stream is. Like, dog, why am I here? Like, I'm not interested in watching your head down. I mean, at the end of the day, I understand you're locked in the same way that I don't like watching, like, here's the difference. If I'm watching Henry play on Twitch and he's locked into a big money game or the final of a tournament, at the end of the day, I'm watching him because he's one of the best in the world. Like, if I'm watching average franchise user who's not Henry, you know, I'm not watching for your gameplay. I'm watching because I want to interact with you. And at the end of the day, when most of the streamers, I mean, look at everybody who's got 2 viewers out there. It's because their head's down and they're just playing their game, which is fine. I also don't think every streamer has to be an entertaining guy. Like, some people just stream because their league requires it. Some people stream because they just want to have it on and, you know, like, be able to save clips. Like, everybody can have a different reason that they stream. But if you're looking to grow your channel, like, you have to interact with your audience. And if it's just one person out there, you have to talk with that one person and you have to show some personality. If you're just not a big personality guy, like, yeah, it's gonna be tough on Twitch in the same way that, like, everybody thinks that they can do Twitch because it's so accessible. Like, I can turn on my Xbox, I can get a camera, like, I can just stream. But at the end of the day, you have to look at it like performing stand-up comedy or acting in a play. At the end of the day, you wouldn't just, if you're a person that's not particularly social and isn't comfortable in front of people, you wouldn't just walk up to a stand-up comedy place and be like, I'm going to go do a 30-minute set. Like, you wouldn't. That would be ridiculous. But we do it on Twitch because it's accessible. You have to, it is a performance. You are trying to get people to tune back in and to follow you and to subscribe to you. And that requires you to give them something, which is entertainment. If you're not an entertaining person, it's like a bad TV show. Why am I going to watch it again? So you just have to be entertaining. And if that's not you, Twitch isn't for you, which is fine. Or if you're comfortable with, 5 people or whatever, hell yeah, dog. Like, live your best life. Like, I don't stream, like, when I'm streaming on my channel, I've got 10 people in there. Like, I don't stream a lot. I have not spent time, because I stream so many other places, I don't spend a lot of time on my own channel. So I don't sit there and be like, well, damn, I don't know. I had 30,000 people watching the MCS final, and I only had 10 people in there. Like, I suck. No, I understand my priorities. Like, it is what it is. Like, I. haven't used my time to build this. So I think that is the biggest thing. I think you can build it. Do I think it's niche? Yes. Like, it is a little niche, especially like because one of the biggest things that was tough with MBL, it's hard when you have a lot of rules explaining that to people who come in.
Right.
Like, I used to have like a 2-minute spiel I would give when somebody was like, why is he calling that play again? And it's a little easier, honestly, now because play cooldown is a thing. So people can actively see like, oh, he's not calling halfback dive out of single back wing tight because it's blacked out and he can't call it for 4 plays. We used to have to like track our plays. We at the NBL could call each play one single time per game, and we used to have to track it. And if you got caught with it, you got a warning or a suspension. But it was hard to explain that to the audience. Like the reason why he's in cover 3 and he's not roaming around with his users because our rules state that you have to stay within your hook curl if you're playing a hook curl, and if you're a man, you have to stay on your man coverage until the ball is thrown. You can't say that all the time. So CFM is niche, but the thing that CFM has that MUT doesn't is the storylines that are weaved through the season.
I agree.
I'm 8-6. I'm 2 games out of a playoff spot. I have a big game this week. The one thing that does require, though, is regularity. You can't stream every 4 weeks of a CFM. You have to stream. I mean, every week. At our heyday, we were doing 24 broadcasts. Like, we literally streamed. We took 2 weeks off during the regular season. We streamed every round of the playoffs. And people showed up because it was, oh, I remember, like, this week, Bananas is playing, and he's Washington. And I remember I watched him 2 weeks ago, and we would have people come in all the time and go, oh, man, Motor's here, and he won the Super Bowl last year. I remember that. Like, you have to have those storylines weaved through to make people come back. That's what CFM has over MUT, is this ability to tell a story.
I think another thing that it separates what MUT is able to do with what franchise gamers is able to do is it's not every single week that I'm able to play my opponent from 9 to midnight, which is my streaming times, right? Like, some of my opponents, like, I can only play on the weekend or I can only play midday. So, I think that's another advantage that MUT might have is if I was a MUT streamer, I'd be able to get on from 9 to midnight every single night and do my spiel as normal. It's not as easy with franchise, but I absolutely agree with what you're saying, bro. We're going to take a really quick commercial break. When we come back, I want to talk to you about this new show that you got with Scott Cole that I watched today. It was absolutely phenomenal. Guys, we'll be right back. All right, let's talk about this new show. So you mentioned that you met Scott Cole when you went out for the EA, but you guys actually just have this show that I was watching today. Now, I went through and I was watching Watson Brady and the LeBron discussion, but then you went live and I actually caught a whole hour, 45-minute long show about Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, and the Los Angeles Lakers today. What's going on with this new show with Scott Cole? What's this all about?
I mean, the answer is like Scott and I have worked together a long time. And Scott came to me a couple of weeks ago and was like, "Would you be interested?" Like, it was actually a couple of months ago, but it was like middle of MCS stuff, and like as stuff slowed down, he's like, "Would you be interested in doing a podcast, doing a show?" And it is just purely like this is what we did when we worked together. Like when we weren't on, this was us sitting over breakfast at the cafe down the street from the hotel, eating blueberry coffee cake and pancakes and like talking sports. And when we were sitting in the green room on break, this is what we did. And it's like, well, we might as well put it on. So I mean, again, it's only 4 episodes in. Like, we're still growing it and building an audience. But yeah, it is so much of our lives are in esports. He's doing so much with the 2K League. I'm obviously with Madden. That like we wanted something that was a little more, I don't want to say mainstream, but like at least like a little more approachable to new viewers. And so talking basically what is ESPN front page stuff is 2 guys who spend our lives. I'm literally you see me on my phone. It's because I'm like placing bets on my phone and checking scores and stuff. My life is sports. It revolves around that. We might as well talk about it. So yeah, we're still figuring out. We've done live the last 2 weeks. We really like how the live show feels, and we're looking 45 minutes to an hour every week, just sort of chopping it up. We had a great group of people in today. Like, again, you talk about growing audiences, and I think that's sort of we go back to talking about streaming. I think that's the part where everybody's looking for that instant high. They're looking to turn on the stream and have 5,000 people watch them. Like we had 30 people watching today, like between all of our channels. But we had a great group in my chat, like asking questions and talking about stuff, and we kept pulling up like quotes from people in
Oh
the
yeah,
chat.
it
Like
was
that's
awesome.
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
and
pulled
like
up like
so.
multiple of my quotes. It was
Yeah,
a phenomenal time. I enjoyed myself. I'll use Finland's word expeditiously.
yeah, right. So yeah, we're just we're in the middle of just sort of growing it and sort of feeling out how long we want the show and what guests we want to bring on. But yeah, this is like you want an insight as to what we did, um, sitting in San Francisco. Um, yeah, this was what we did. So yeah, I mean, is it on YouTube? It's on YouTube. It's on Scott Cole's YouTube. It's on Spotify. It's the Scott Cole Show.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's on my Twitch. You can watch the VOD back. Like it's kind of everywhere right now. But yeah, like go check it out on the new episode. Just went live in the last like 2 hours on Spotify. So give it a listen. But yeah, we're live every Tuesday at like sorry, I'm bad with time zones because
Today was
we
noon.
move. Yeah, noon Eastern or
Yeah,
noon our time, which is 3 Eastern or
something. It's
something.
something like that, bro.
We're usually 2 to 3 Eastern is where
The
we
rest
are.
of the country's
Like
got to
live.
stop this time zone change. Like
They are. Oh my god.
like it has to
I
stop.
don't want to talk about that.
Okay, so and I don't want to just gloss over it. The show was absolutely phenomenal. So those of you that don't know what's going on, it's a talk show. It's split up half screen. You and Scott Cole. It is done phenomenally. There's tickers that go
Credit
across
Scott.
the bottom,
Yeah,
talking
that's all
about what
Scott.
they're talking about. Like it is top grade A production. They involved the chat, which I thought was just super cool. Like you're in there, you're typing comments are coming on the stream. They're able to like talk about your comments. Like it was just a really, really fun atmosphere. So for those of you that aren't checking that out, you can go. He dropped you where you can go check some of that stuff out. Let me ask you this: you are in a lot of streams. I've meant to ask this earlier. I don't want to mess it. If people are sitting there going like, "What are some of the top streamers that Nick Mizesko would recommend?" Who are those guys? What would be your top three?
I mean, I'll just go with guys that I watch, and I'm a different kind of Twitch guy. Like I don't spend a lot of time in streams. Like I tend to pop in for 20 to 30 minutes at a time, and say hi and re up my sub and give some subs and whatnot. Um, for me personally, like obviously Fendler's one that I watch a lot. I know him very well. He's somebody who I've supported for a long time. Like I think he's one of the most entertaining human beings out there.
I find
And
Fendler to be hilarious.
yeah, I really like I love watching him stream, and he's somebody who's definitely delving into the variety gaming. So if you're not just purely into Madden, and you want to see some other stuff, he's great. Somebody who I've known for a long time, Mills Gaming. I think it's just twitch.tv/Mills at this point. With an S, not a Z, not the EMB guy, but Mills. He's a variety guy. He's a franchise guy. He's actually somebody who I work with a lot in franchise. Like you talk about guys who like help with the design and all that stuff. Like he's one of the guys that like when I first got into the program, he was helping. He's supremely entertaining. He plays everything. Obviously like I love watching him and just hanging out in his stream. But he's somebody who I first met back at EA Play in 2017 was the first time I met him, and we've become good friends since then. And then beyond that, like good Madden streams. Obviously, support a guy like Pavin when he streams. He's trying to get into phase. I love watching. Again, I have a lot of the pro guys that I watch, just for research and all
Right.
that. But obviously guys like Vose is very entertaining to watch. A guy like ScoMo in the morning. Up and Adam Gaming. If you're looking for somebody who's very like smart with the economics of MUT and how to make coins and training in the game, Up and Adam is really fun to watch. There's a lot of guys like obviously like it's Twitch is so diverse. Probably like the one that I watch the most that's not in the Madden community is a guy by the name of Ray Narvaez Jr. Like he used to be over at Rooster Teeth, who's a video game company, but he broke off and he streams on his own, and he's a big time streamer. I watch him probably the most out of anybody, but mostly because he puts all his stuff on YouTube. So I end up just like putting on compilations of his stuff. He's very entertaining. So there's just a lot of great streamers out there, and obviously like I'll obviously say like find some leagues, like find somebody maybe it's not an individual, but like if there are leagues that are putting broadcasts, I know guys like Sodom Bowl do some broadcasts, XCFL does some broadcasts. Like find some guys like that and like at least start watching their stuff because you might find a team that you're like, oh, I kind of want to follow that guy, and then you find that user on Twitch, and you're like, oh, he's the owner of the Rams or whatever, and I want to watch him play. Like, I think that's a great way to get into watching franchises. You start by watching the league itself and see the content that they put out. Guys like MSR put out some great content. Like, go watch these guys and give credit to the guys who are spending. I mean, again, as somebody who did it for a long time, most of this we're doing for free. This is our free time, and
Yeah, it's all
we're
hobby.
not making money. Yeah, like I mean, again, people always talk about like you get paid to do Madden. Yeah, but for 4 years I didn't make a dime. I lost money. Like I spent a ton of money on upping my computer and spending money on graphics packages and you know what it's like when you're just trying to build something. So
I get it.
support leagues. Like find a league that you like and then see if you can't like find a user there that you want to follow along and follow them. Like I think that's what's great about Twitch is it is accessible.
You know, the awesome thing about you, and I don't know how much credit you'll take for this, but you actually, in my opinion, started a trend of broadcasters, right? Because there's actually multiple people out there that are doing broadcasting. You brought up the Soden, you talked about him earlier. Have you had a chance to check out guys like CG, who's 16 and absolutely killing the broadcast game right now? You've got Snipes, he's another Arizona guy right down the street from us out in Anthem, absolutely killing what he's doing with some of the Soden Bulls and the leagues he's doing. Have you had a chance to check out some of these other broadcasters yet?
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't spend a ton of time because obviously when I'm not working, I'm trying to spend time with the family and whatnot. But I'll pop around. I'll pop into I mean, obviously the guys at Soden Bowl have been very nice to me. Guys at MSR. There's still a lot of like old NBL guys that like I've been able to reconnect with. Just tuning into a lot of these leagues and watching their stuff. Like I won't stick around the whole time, but it's really cool seeing and I don't credit myself. I credit, there are so many great broadcasters out there. It's, I got into broadcasting watching Marv Albert call the 96 finals and watching Keith Jackson call college football national championships. Like, I think that broadcasting is a great place to be in and commentary is a great place to be in. And I think that's just, people want, to be that voice. So I think it's cool seeing people get involved. I think it's cooler seeing people do it for more than just themselves, doing it for leagues. I think that's the cool part is seeing people like, I'm going to give up an hour of my time to hop on this broadcast for my league because I care about this league. I think that's the coolest part.
Yeah, I agree with you. And that's actually why this show even exists, right? Because I used to put out a lot of content that would get no views, and it's not anything that really bothered me. Like it'd be something like for just my league guys, but I knew that there were other leagues out there that were doing just as much work that were not getting any views either. And I thought, you know what? If I have the time and I have the resources, I can put together a show where I can showcase what all these leagues are doing. Let's rock it out, man. Let's absolutely go show, and let's go give credit to a lot of the work that gets put in. You named a lot of great leagues out there. They do a lot of good stuff. What's your advice to any of these broadcasters that watch what you did? You started off in just a league, and now you're working with EA and doing this. If they want to get to that kind of point, what would be your advice to some of them?
Consistency. I mean, it is for 4 years. Like you couldn't turn on Twitch without us being live and my face being on there. Like it is. I treated a thing that was not paying me like a job. Like I treated it like a job. I didn't go, oh, I have dinner with friends tonight, so I'm gonna skip it. I moved things around. I told my wife like, hey, obviously like Tuesday nights I usually have a broadcast. So if you want me to come out to Taco Tuesday dinner with your friends, I'm not gonna be able to get there till 9:00. Like, I think that is more than anything. It's just consistency, and trust me, there were times and weeks and days that it was like, I don't want to turn on this broadcast. I'm tired. I don't feel great. This is my 16th show of the season. My voice is killing me, and you just got to do it. And you interact and you have fun. Obviously, being entertaining is important, but just being around. I mean, people always say like I think it was I think LC posted remember EA's official channel would cut to NBL stream from time to time. Yeah, because we bugged them. Like we literally we were there, we were all on all the time, and we forced them to notice us. It wasn't done overnight. It took years and years and took money. It took us sending people out to EA Play. It took us interacting with devs on Twitter, which again, it is a different world now because a lot of the devs have left Twitter because Twitter got ruined. Like the Madden community ruined Twitter for devs to be out there because it was just like all the hate is spewed. But it wasn't like we went, hey, can we be on the Twitch? And they went, yeah, here you go, we got you, we'll host you. It took years and years of consistency, and I think that is it. Is that like, even right now, it's March. We all know what the game is like right now. Like, MCS season is over. Madden 23 is not that far away. Like, a lot of people are putting that game down and going playing Elden Ring, or
Yep.
MLB The Show comes out in a week. Like, people are going to be playing that. We played Madden, and we
Yep.
played Madden well into June and July. I remember every year we had 2 weeks off. It was literally the 2 weeks right before the game launched. We took those 2 weeks off, but that was the only like built-in obvious off week we had. And that's, I think, your biggest thing. If you want to get noticed and you want to grow your thing, you do have to treat it like a job. And at the end of the day, you can't tell your job, I don't feel like coming in on Wednesday because I'm kind of tired. Like, you just got to do it. So
Yep.
that's the best advice for anybody.
I hear you on that, man. That's it. It's absolutely something that is a grind. If you want to create something, you have to stay consistent with it. Consistency to me is the entire key. But you actually brought up a very a great. See, one of the reasons that I'm good at this show is like I find really good intros, like to the next question. And you
Sure,
actually brought
sure.
up something that gives me an intro. And you said all the devs are leaving EA or leaving Twitter. They're not just leaving Twitter. They're now starting to leave EA. Do you have any concerns with Swami leaving the franchise mode? He's done with EA. He's moving on to bigger and better things. But with as much concern as franchise mode gets currently, is there more of a concern that now one of their main contributors has left?
No, like, obviously Swami is such a positive influence on the franchise, and he brings so much to the table that obviously not having that person there sucks. I've having interacted with a lot of the people at EA. There are a lot of, like, Swami's not the only person there that cares. Like, there are a lot of people that care about the mode and care about the game. Does it concern? No. I mean, we live in a world now where most people are staying in jobs 3 to 5 years. Like, nobody's working for companies 20 years anymore. Like, because you get better offers elsewhere and you want to move around, you want to try other things out. So, yeah, there's going to be turnover. I mean, in the same way that, like, guess what? Back when I started talking to EA devs in 2017, most of those guys are gone. Y'all, Rex Dixon doesn't work there anymore. Like, Rex was the head of everything, and he doesn't work there anymore. And he's doing other things. Like,
Yep.
people move on and find other jobs and find other opportunities. And, I don't think it is time to panic or set off fire alarms. Like, EA's made a lot of money on Madden. Like, they have plenty of people over there. Like, I obviously, like, I want what's best for Swami, and I hope that there's like a great opportunity for him going somewhere else, and whatever he's gonna do, he's gonna bring something. But, like, yeah, do I wish Swami was still there? Obviously, like, I wish, I want all my people that I enjoy talking to stay in their jobs forever to make my life easier. But unfortunately, it's not the world we live in. So, there's still plenty of people over there, and there are plenty of people that they bring in. I mean, they brought in a lot of great people over the years, guys like Deuce Douglas, who did a ton of franchise videos and was a great content creator. He got brought in to work on the game. Guys like Serious Mo, a competitor, he got brought in to be
Such a good
on
name.
the game. Yeah, like, I mean, there are great people who love the game that are getting brought in every week. So as long as Swami gets to go do something that makes him happy and is good for him, that would be my only concern. Is, if Swami doesn't have a job and, like, doesn't work, like, obviously I'm gonna be concerned as his friend. But, like, am I concerned for the game? No. I there's a lot of turnover every day. People get moved around. Knowing a lot of people at EA, people get moved around a lot. Dog, I've worked at EA as a broadcaster for 4 years. I've had 3 different producers. Like, people just move. Like, I am unfazed to it at this point.
Facts. All right, buddy. We're going to take our last commercial break. When we come back, we are actually going to have the segment that I've been waiting for the most, and that's where we get to kind of talk a little bit about Arizona. I know you've only been here for a few years, but I've got a small little trivia for you. Let's see how you do. Guys, we will be right back. All right, guys, we are back. All right, Nick, my Arizona brother, right? And this is how my love for you actually started. Is I didn't really know a whole lot about you until I found out that you were in Arizona, and it was at that moment I was like, "Yo, I can connect with people that deal with the same heat that I deal with." Because if you don't live in Arizona, You just don't understand how freaking hot it gets here, right? But for those of us that live here, it is crazy. What made you move here? I mean, it's only 3 months out of the year that it gets that hot, but what made you go like Arizona is going to be my roots?
So we have a friend who lives in out here by us, out in Queen Creek.
Mm-hmm.
He's lived here like 20 years. Like he's an MBL guy. Big shout out to Project Fat. So I met him like back in 2016 when I was on my honeymoon. I ended up like meeting up with him when he was working in Florida. He ended up moving back out to Arizona where he's from. So he was always like, "Yeah, you should move to Arizona." And me and my wife were always like, "Dog, it's still 120 in the summer." Like, no, I'm not moving to Arizona. But we visited a couple times. We had a good time, and like a couple times he was like, "We don't have anything to do today. Let's go to an open house. Like there's open houses everywhere. Let's go." We would walk through houses, and it was us, placating and be like, "Oh yeah, but we're not gonna move to Arizona." I think that there were two factors that made us move. One was the pandemic. I think being in one, like especially in Michigan where everything was locked out. Like we had curfews and stuff. Like we were not like a lot of the South where like people loosened up. Like I remember they started the lockdown on the 18th of March. I didn't leave my house except to go to the grocery store twice until the first week of May. Like I was in that house a lot. So I think just like being stuck in somewhere during a pandemic like got us restless. Neither my wife and I are big winter people anyways. Like we just like we don't like ski or do any of that stuff. Her family's all hunters and they like being in the cold. Like no.
So my family is.
And then we obviously working so much in San Francisco where the studio is, like that's being a hour and 45-minute flight versus a 4.5-hour flight. If we ever get back there, please let me get back to live events. It's just gonna save me time and headaches. So yeah, we ended up moving out here. I've obviously done again, I go to Vegas a lot, so I've been to Vegas in the summer. Like I know what the heat's like, and everybody's like, "Well, it's hot during the summer," and I went, "Yeah, but it's cold during the winter. You just stay inside at opposite times. The difference is in the winter, I have to shovel my driveway. I don't have to shovel the sun off my driveway in Arizona summer." So
nope, I wear flip flops and basketball shorts in the winters. It gets hot, but I don't think people outside of Arizona understand when they're like, "Yeah, but Arizona's so hot." Yeah, but every single thing is air conditioned. Everything. It's not like out in the Midwest or out East Coast, where a lot of people have swamp coolers, or you just don't have anything. You just have like natural reasons. No.
In West Coast, I went to San Diego. All the Airbnbs don't have air conditioning. I'm like,
that ain't Arizona, bro. Every single thing in Arizona has a workable air conditioning. Your car is going to get hot, but if you cover up your windows, you're going to be okay. So I actually other than haboobs, and there's a lot of people out there that are going to hear me say haboobs, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, he's talking about sex." It's not. It's just a huge dust storm. A lot of people don't even know what a haboob is, but it's the only natural disaster that we ever have to deal with. And so I don't...
And you add in like all the other stuff that we like sort of learned about it when we moved here is that like home insurance costs nothing out here because there's nothing to flood your house. Like car insurance costs nothing out here, and especially compared to Michigan, which has the highest car insurance rates. Like we save money there, and we put solar panels on our roof, and we really don't pay that much in electric. Like our electric bill is $70 a month. Like in the summertime, it's $150 compared to what it could be. It's great. Like I don't know. Like we love it out here. We're still like, I mean, obviously, like where we are is still getting built up. So we're waiting for sort of, in the next couple of years to get a lot of the like cool stuff that places like Gilbert and Chandler and Tempe and all these places have. But, yeah, it's great. I love it.
All right. This is where I want you to put on your sports broadcasting, your hat, where you get to give me your opinions. I got 2 sports Arizona questions, and I would like to know your opinion on what's going to happen, right? Yeah. Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Is he staying in Arizona, or is his time winding down?
He's staying. They will protect Kyler Murray over Cliff Kingsbury. Cliff Kingsbury sucks. I don't know how he got an extension. It still baffles me.
You want my opinion on why he got an extension? I think the only reason he got an extension is because Kyler wants him back. That's gotta. I can't see another reason that happens.
I mean, again, obviously, like last year was a disappointment. That offense just looked different without D-Hop. D-Hop stays healthy. Like, maybe we're talking something different. I think Kyler's good. I think people who put Kyler top 7 quarterback are kind of crazy. I think Kyler is a top 12 quarterback. He's good. I would not say he is elite. He needs to develop a little bit, but I think, again, the power play of like I will say this. I chuckled when he like took Arizona Cardinals out of his name and deleted a bunch of his pictures. Like, dog, you do realize you have the same number of playoff wins as Baker Mayfield, right? Like, you're
Bro.
not. Let's not pretend like you are a AFC champion.
What made me laugh, right, is as soon as he did that, all the reports were out, he's going to go play baseball. Baseball's in a strike. If he were to go play baseball, he's talking about playing in AAA at least for a season. There's no one that just goes straight to these. And he's as good of a baseball player he is. He ain't like that. You know what I'm saying? Then you have all these years that you're signed for, including arbitration years. Miss me with your baseball talk. You ain't going to baseball.
I will say this. It will be very interesting for Kyler in the, last year of his deal.
Mm-hmm.
Considering the contract that Deshaun Watson got
and
the contract that Aaron Rodgers got, it will be interesting to see what quarterback negotiations look like next year. That's all I'll say. It will be interesting to see.
Did the Cardinals mess up not signing him before those two deals?
If you believe Kyler Murray's your quarterback of the future, yes. Like, he only has 1 year left on his deal.
He has to be, doesn't he? At this point, you can't move on from him if you're the Cardinals. You've never had a young franchise quarterback in the history of the league, and you're the oldest league or the oldest team in the league. I don't feel like they have any option. All right, let's move on to the next one. The Phoenix Suns. Are they winning the NBA championship this year?
The Phoenix Suns are the best team in the NBA. Are they winning the NBA championship? I don't know. I mean, the answer is we've seen Chris Paul get hurt. We've seen Booker get dinged up. Injuries happen. Like, we've had plenty of years where going into playoffs, like, the best team doesn't win because James Harden tears his ACL. Like that can happen. But assuming they stay healthy, they're the best team in the NBA. They have the best starting rotation. They have 3 perennial All-Stars. They're also the deepest team in the NBA. They can go 5 aside with Cam Johnson coming off the bench, Cam Payne coming off the bench, JaVale McGee, who's quietly having a really nice season as a backup center.
I love him.
Yeah, I mean, like, the team is loaded. They're a bad matchup for every team because Chris Paul and Ayton running the high pick and roll sucks. When Chris Paul comes off the floor, Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton run the high pick and roll. That sucks. Devin Booker can take over games. Ayton can drop 30 a night. Chris Paul drops 14 assists. And then you add in Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder, Cam Johnson as shooters. Like, they are the hardest team to beat. I have them going to the finals. I have them winning the finals. I think they are that good. I don't think there's anybody in the West that can compete with them. The team that you would be scared of early in the season was the Lakers. Fun fact, they're bad at basketball. I think that the Jazz are a good team. The Suns beat them by 15 the other week. Like, the Clippers with Paul George are a good team. He's playing his first game back here. They beat him by 25. Like, the Suns are the best team in the West. Out of the one team I'm scared of out of the East for the Suns is the Boston Celtics. If they lose Robert Williams for an extended period of time, he just tore his meniscus. If he's back for the playoffs, that team is tough with Tatum and Brown and Bob Williams and Grant Williams coming off the bench and all these pieces. Like, they're very good, and I think they're the best team in the East fully healthy, but they're kind of dinged up right now. I don't love how Milwaukee is playing in the East. They just beat the Sixers tonight. They beat them by 2 tonight. But I still don't think they're playing very well, but I think they're a team that has an on-off switch, and I think in the playoffs they'll do it. But I don't think outside of Boston there's a team that can match up with Philly, or there's a team that can match up with Phoenix from a depth level. And I think that's what playoff teams, that's why the Bulls were so good. We can talk about Jordan and Pippen all we want, but when you can bring in Steve Kerr and Tony Kukoc off the bench to knock down buckets, and Horace Grant comes off the bench, like, depth is all important. So I think that's why the Suns are best built, at least, to win the title.
Nick, all I've got left is, I know that you're new to Arizona, so I went through and I found some fun trivia ones, right? And I'm going to give you, there's 3 different questions that are Arizona centric. There's one that's Cardinal centric, and we're gonna see how you do. All right?
Oh boy.
This plant only grows in Arizona. Do you know what plant that is? There's nowhere else that this plant grows. Nowhere in the world.
Heroin.
It's
the
not.
Poppy plant? It's not the poppy plant? Damn.
It is actually a cactus. It's the saguaro
the
cactus.
Jumping Cholla?
The saguaro.
Oh, okay, cool.
It only grows here. All right.
Next. I don't mess with cacti because they're sharp.
Yeah, they're not. They're not fun. They go right into your body, and they don't want to come out. All right. Yeah. Let me ask you this. This is an easy one. We'll give you the easy one first.
Okay.
The U.S. only has one of the 7 national wonders of the world, and it's the only one in the United States. Do you know what that one of 7 national
the Great Pyramids of Giza? Grand Canyon, I guess, but
Grand Canyon.
Could have been the Great Pyramids of Phoenix.
I felt like I gave you one, right?
Thank you. I appreciate
you're 1
that.
and 1. This
Cheers.
one is tricky. This is interesting. Arizona has 2 of the United States' top 10 of these. Do you know what it is? 2 of the top 10 are here in Arizona. Dong, 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 dong.
If I've learned anything about Phoenix, I would say 2 of the top 10 drunk brunch places.
No, waterfalls. We have 2 of the top 10 waterfalls in the United States.
Well, there you go.
And here's the last one. This is my Cardinal one. I went for a
Okay.
deep dive with this one. There was a lot of chatter with this one, so I think a couple are pretty easy. But can you name me 3 of the 5 retired number who the players were for the Cardinals? And I'll give you the numbers. It's number 8, number 40, number 77, 88, and 99. Those are retired jerseys of the Arizona Cardinals. Who wore those jerseys?
So, I would assume that Pat Tillman is on that list.
Pat Tillman is 40.
Because, obviously what
Yes.
he was able to. And by the way, I did not realize that Tillman was an ASU guy.
He was actually, I don't remember if it was the same draft as Jake Plummer, but it was very similar. They played at ASU together.
Yeah. So, shout out to the late, great Pat Tillman.
You got one? I can read the numbers again if you'd like.
Yeah, give me the numbers again.
8.
I'm trying to think into my Madden. By the way, my Madden,
Yeah. They are in Madden.
Yeah.
A couple of these guys are in there. And one of them, I'll even give you a hint. One of them, J.J. Watt wore his number this year. Okay? So again, I'll read them again. Number 8, number 77, number 88, and number 99.
So no, obviously, like at least one of them is an offensive lineman, and that one I am not going to get. 8 is going to be
It's a safety.
probably a DB, right?
It is a safety.
If I'm thinking of great Cardinals DBs, the only one I can think of is Larry Wilson,
You got one. You got 2 now. You got Larry Wilson, Pat Tillman.
and I got none other than that because those are offensive linemen and something else. So like,
I won't lie to
I'm
you.
not gonna get.
I would have gotten the 2 that you got. I would have gotten the 3rd one just because of the J.J. Watt story. He wore 99 because of Marshall Goldberg. Marshall Goldberg was he was a veteran in the war, ended up leaving the Cardinals to go to the war. They retired his number. That's how J.J. Watt ended up getting that one. He gave money to the fund, whatever. The other 2 I never would have gotten. I wouldn't even gotten close. And that is Stan Malden and J.V. Kane. I have no idea who the hell those guys are.
Please listen. I mean, you got to think though. Coming up, number 11's going up there, right?
11 should be going up into there. I would not be. Larry Fitzgerald has to go in there. Will they retire his number? You would
He's
think so.
statistically a top 5 wide receiver of all time.
You would think that they would absolutely.
They have to retire.
To be truthfully honest with you, I don't know if there's many players that have the cojones to come in here and wear number 11. I don't. It may just retire itself if they don't retire.
That's fair. Yeah, you really want to come in here and wear number 11 with Arizona? Good luck.
Good luck.
Any friends in the locker room?
Anybody taking 11 is just because that was the only number they had left, and they're looking to get out of that number as fast as humanly possible.
Yep. Yeah,
Brother,
I mean, you got to think 11 goes up there.
I cannot thank you enough for your time.
Dog.
You absolutely came in here. You killed it. You gave us your all. For those of you that don't know, I play with Nick in Bold Smack. He just beat me. It was a phenomenal game. I can't wait to play him again. We're now 1-1, so I'm looking forward to the next one.
Rubber match, yeah. That was a wild game. We went to overtime.
It was so much fun, dude. Like, playing you is a blast. Is Madden Bombers League ever going to make a return?
No.
Okay.
No, they all left and created their own league, and we are not a part of that anymore, so no.
Here's the one thing that I want to end with, brother. I know that you're very open on your social media about some of the struggles that you go through, mental health, and I know a lot of us do. I know that I go through my own issues, and we're not going to get to those, but I do want to leave you with this. Just so you know, when people watch your stream or they get to interact with you on different levels, the smile that you just have on the camera, when you can look into the camera and you can just shine those bright whites and you let people know that smile is infectious, and you help a lot of people just feel better because of the time and the commitment that you give to this community. And I cannot thank you enough for that, man. Like, it's a very selfless act on your part. You did a lot of selfless stuff to get to the point that you are. But I don't ever want you to think that just because you go through your own struggles that you don't help impact the struggles of others. And you being you has helped me in times. And I just want to thank you, man.
Dude, that's very kind of you. I mean, obviously, you know, couldn't do any of this without, you know, great support from guys like you and the people who support. And the smile just comes from I do love what I do. I love, you know, whether I get to read chat, whether I'm on ESPN or doing EA stuff, whether I'm doing Mudhead, like it's what I love. So yeah, I certainly appreciate it. This was an absolute blast. You know, obviously, you know, everybody out there better have hit that follow button at this point. Like, y'all psychopaths, come on. Always a blast, and anytime you want to chop it up, you just let me know.
Man, I cannot thank you enough for your time. We went about a half hour over what I thought we would, but it was a blast. Guys, give a big shout out to Nick Mizesko. If you are not over there, if you are not checking out his Twitter, again, he is on Twitter, he is at Nick Mizesko. If you are at his Twitch, it is twitch.tv, Nick Mizesko Official. Get over there. Check out what he's doing. The show that he's doing with Scott Cole is absolutely phenomenal. He's got another one on there. You had Primrose on there a few weeks ago doing an interview very similar to this. Just great content. Get over there. Check his stuff out, guys. It was a blast. Nick, thanks for your time. Guys, I have a Bold Smack game coming up here in about 5 minutes. This was great. Adios.